We're going to Kentucky, because why not?
Kentucky is our 4th state's food tour. We are in the Lexington area and we are starting off with none other than Kentucky BBQ. But it didn't start this way. We pulled up to what we thought was going to be our first location, but then we realized
Their door says Texas barbecue.
I'm not doing Texas barbecue. So after extensive research, I think I finally understand Kentucky's barbecue situation. And if you're from Kentucky and you hear something wrong, please correct me in the comments. Kentucky is most famous for mutton barbecue or sheep barbecue, and it's served with something called dip, which is a Worcestershire-based sauce that is popular in the western part of the state. But pork is equally as popular in the eastern part of the state. Kentucky's barbecue is highly dependent on the region or county that you're in. The main styles of barbecue are pulled or chopped pork in western counties, shoulder or pork in south central counties, and chip, which is pork and mutton combined in Union and Henderson counties. As for sauces go, the two most popular are dip, which is that Worcestershire-based sauce, and something called burgoo, which is a stew made of meats and vegetables in the Owensboro area and a few surrounding counties. Now, it's important to note that Lexington and Louisville are kind of like the melting pots of barbecue. So you're gonna find, you know, Texas barbecue, Carolina barbecue, but we are actually going to a location that we've been to before the last time we were in Kentucky called Red State BBQ. This was some of the best barbecue Josh and I have ever had, except we're gonna be getting something different this time because that wouldn't be fair if we got the same thing as last time.
I saw an old man by the side of the road. He said I'd walk 100 miles, but I got nowhere to go. Back in my time, I was a kid that had a head full of dreams. I'm now a drifter with a pack of cigarettes in my jeans.
We got pulled pork, pulled chicken, and brisket. We got the Kentucky barbecue sauce, which is called Kentucky Small Batch.
Got the pulled pork. Their sauces here are so freaking good.
That sauce really does take it to a whole different level. There's a sweetness to it and a vinegar-iness to it, if that makes sense.
I'd say also a smokiness, but I couldn't tell if that was from the meat or
I think
from
it's
the
from
sauce.
the meat. Yeah, I think the smokiness comes from the meat, and then the vinegar and the sweetness of the sauce combines those flavors together into this beautiful symphony.
Chicken. That chicken is very juicy still. Well, it's not dry at all.
Honestly, I was most excited about the chicken. Wow. I think that's even better than the pork, honestly. So what I like about the chicken is that it's not dry. There's still a juiciness to it. Normally when you get pulled chicken, I feel like it's usually overdone, but this still has that juiciness of it, and it's really delicious.
Got the brisket. The fat on that just melts into like buttery goodness.
This brisket is so tender.
Oh, you have to get some of that fat on there.
Oh, it's so tender, juicy, tastes delicious.
Little baked bean action. I couldn't tell if it was sweet or savory at first because it was like sweet, and then all of a sudden it got like a oniony taste to it. But it's really good.
Mac and cheese. I ordered this last time, so honestly I don't really remember what it tastes like.
Did we put barbecue sauce on it last time?
I'm gonna dip it in barbecue sauce. That's the move.
This mac and cheese is dang good, but there is so much butter on it, which is probably what makes it good. When you mix it with the barbecue sauce, it's like the creamy mac and cheese with so much butter.
When you come here, obviously you can see on the walls that people sign the walls. We didn't last time, but I had a Sharpie in my car. Right here.
Perfect. The next thing we're doing is bourbon tasting. I have to get Kentucky bourbon. We are at Barrel House Distillery, about to take a tour of how they make bourbon and where they make bourbon. We're definitely trying some. Bourbon can only be made in Kentucky and small areas of 2 other states. And this is because the state sits on limestone, which filters the water and gives the alcohol that specific bourbon flavor. The tour was very informative, but some of the basics we learned about bourbon are that it must be made up of 3 grains using at least 50% corn, and then some of the other grains that could be added would be barley, wheat, or rye. Those grains are then mixed with water and yeast and fermented. Then they get strained and distilled. And what's specific to bourbon is that the aging process must take place in a newly charred American white oak barrel. For it to be straight bourbon, it has to sit for at least 2 years. Lastly, it's diluted before it heads into the bottle.
We tasted 7 drinks ranging from vodka to rum and, of course, bourbon. Josh really enjoyed it. But me, on the other hand, well... Ooh, why is it spicy? Why is my tongue burn?
When they got a birthday, that's the same way as birthday. So, 21% rye.
It's like hot. Yeah. Needless to say, I don't like straight alcohol.
I had a lot of fun with the tour, and we learned a new way to try high alcohol spirits, which was like you put it in your mouth and swish it around for like 5 seconds, and then you swallow it and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth.
If you hadn't learned it before, you learned something.
Good. And that makes it the burniness more go to your mouth than down your throat.
Both were horrible.
It was a lot of fun, but it was like the one that they said to do that one was 108 proof, which is like what, 54% alcohol or something like that, I think, which is so high. I liked them all. Erica didn't. They all have like a slight oakiness, but a burniness, obviously.
That was, oh, that hurt. Picture this: bread, turkey, bacon, and a rich, cheesy sauce on top. Well, we're about to get that next. So we're headed to Louisville, Kentucky to get our final 2 items for our Kentucky food tour today. The Brown Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, whatever your preference is the founder and maker of the hot brown open-faced sandwich, which we are about to go order and eat. And also have a nice sweet treat at the end that is also famous in Kentucky, also at the Brown Hotel. So we're doing 2 in 1 right now.
You're flying.
I always feel out of place at fancy places, especially when you weren't prepared to know that it's a fancy place. At least I put makeup on this morning.
I got lucky today. This looks really good, but you would not be able to tell it's a sandwich. It's just a pile of good smelling food.
Well, that's why they call it an open-faced sandwich.
Yeah, but I can't see the bottom part. It's loaded, a loaded open-faced sandwich. There it is. You get into the middle and it tastes like Thanksgiving dinner with bacon. Like struggling.
Bread, bacon, cheese. It does taste. When I say it tastes like Thanksgiving dinner, it tastes like a really good Thanksgiving dinner. But that cheese, oh my gosh. This combo. Josh did a good job at saying it's like Thanksgiving dinner, but like a really high-end Thanksgiving dinner that like a professional chef would cook you, which is exactly what we're eating, with bacon on it and a tomato. No, that's good.
It's unique, I'll give it that.
There's no way you could finish this by yourself.
I can finish.
It's rich, it's creamy, it's meaty, and then the tomatoes actually kind of really work with it because it brings a little bit of like brightness to it. That's a thick turkey breast. Also got a salad, so just to balance out the, cheese. Last but not least, we are finishing our Kentucky food tour with Kentucky Derby Pie, which is a chocolate and walnut tart with pie crust, and everyone says that they love it, so we're really excited to try this sweet treat at the end of a day full of eating and I guess kind of drinking.
That's right. It tastes like a chocolate chip cookie, but with like walnuts in it, or pecans. What is that?
Walnuts.
It tastes like a walnut chocolate chip cookie fresh out of the oven.
I get if a cookie and a
Brownie?
Pecan pie had a baby. That's the best way I can explain it.
That's actually a pretty good description. A cookie and a pecan pie had a baby and had a derby pie.
Replace the pecans with walnuts.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not lactose intolerant, but let's just say what we just ate is not for the lactose intolerant.
It's called the hot brown for a reason.
We can't put that in there.
That's why I said it, because there's no way you'll... Whenever you want, babe.
Oh.
Let's go drink some bourbon. Yeehaw.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what you look like. That is the vibe. You gave it off.
It's the vibe I was going for today.